Hi, lovies. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today is a very important day. It is the first day of the Sentimental Value podcast hosted by yours truly, sincerely, Cedrinna. Tonight's episode is going to be on facing fear. And while I had a lot of topics to choose from, I chose this one because it actually has sentimental value to me. I have been putting this off for a very long time because I was afraid. I was scared. I was apprehensive and hesitant to step into my purpose. However, tonight, I face my fears with each and every one of you. So I hope that my podcast, similar to all of my other social media platforms, not only motivate and inspire you and reveal more of me to you, but we are going to reveal more of you to you. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're unpacking fear, okay? So what is fear exactly, right? We know that fear is not a fact, right? And we know that fear is a feeling, but a lot of the times we misconstrue that feelings are factual and they are not. So, fear has always been like an acronym that I always look at, and the F stands for false, the E stands for evidence, the A stands for appearing, and the R stands for real, right? So it's false evidence appearing real. So a lot of the times our fears are things that really are not reality, right? Our imagination is what scares us a lot of the time. And the reason why I really wanted to get into fear on this first episode, because I myself struggle with fear, right? And being anxious and feeling as though everything is going to go wrong, or even if it doesn't all go wrong, nothing will go right. However, if I live in that fear, I will never face everything that's possible and capable. So even as I'm doing this podcast right now, right, inaugural episode to a journey that I'm embarking on with stepping into my purpose, I'm scared, right? I'm fearful. However, I'm ready and I'm really wanting this to happen. And I really hope as we get into this episode and as I introduce even our guest for tonight and she gets into her story and how she overcame fear, both personally and professionally, it will inspire you to face whatever fear that you have. So let's get into it. Like I said, we have the acronym for fear, but what I like to combat that with is two things that I have on my wall. I do affirmations every morning. And while fear definitely can stand for false evidence appearing real, it also means to forget everything and run versus to face everything and rise, right? So when you get scared, what do? Do you kind of go into yourself? Do you get quiet? Do you shy away? Are you fight? Are you flight? Are you freeze? How do you face your fear, right? Because the first step to getting over a fear is to become aware of what exactly are you fearful of, right? And a lot of the times our flesh and the surface tells us that we're scared of other people and what they think and what they believe, but really deep down inside, internally, we fear ourselves. We fear what we feel about ourselves and what we believe about ourselves to be true and what we think is capable and possible and what is actually not an opportunity in our mind, but an actuality in actual life, if that kind of makes sense. So I have a quote here. We're going to have this little thing where we do quote of the day, and the quote will be pertaining to the topic. The quote that I chose is a really good one. It's by Aristotle, and it says that he who overcomes his fears will truly be free, right? So kind of like that, who the sun sets free is free indeed. If you do not overcome your fears, you are imprisoning yourself. You are in captivity. Okay, you are bound to something that is absolutely nothing, if that makes sense. So in the midst of me having a quote for every episode, you guys know I'm a nerd. Okay, so I'm a scholar at heart. I love a good book. Okay, if you are not a reader, please download Audible, and please just even in the morning, listen to something. Okay. The same way that you guys are maybe listening on all platforms, Spotify, Google, and Apple to this podcast. If you're watching the visualization of it on YouTube, you can do the same with books. Okay. Books will change your life. And because we are now all adults, right? And we can choose to self-educate ourselves. No one is forcing you to do anything, which means when you do something, it should mean everything because it's what you chose to do. So I'm telling you guys right now, if you haven't already, please read this book. It is called The 4 Agreements. It was suggested to me by my cousin. Shout out my cousin Lando. When he suggested it to me, I heard of the book. The author, Don Miguel Ruiz, forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce it. I first saw him on The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God. And, I really think it's a belief that Black people don't read, and that especially men don't read. And to see Charlamagne the God, who is someone that's so prominent in Black media and that's so into mental health, and also he has written a few of his own books. When he interviewed this author, it really kind of, raised my eyebrow. And I remember hearing the 4 Agreements, but I still never picked up the book. So it wasn't until my cousin suggested it to me, another Black man, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna read it. And when I tell you, alignment, you have to trust alignment. If you're listening to this right now, if you're watching this right now, I can guarantee you it is aligned with something that you have seen, something that you have heard, or something that you have thought this week, dealing with fear and what you need to face and what you need to stop running from. And a lot of the times we can't overcome our fear because we've made an agreement to something that is not in agreement with us and our purpose and our path. So I want to just kind of go over the 4 agreements really fast. I want my podcast to not only be, entertaining, but I also want it to be educational in the form of entertainment. So to all my college students, okay, I am an Illini, shout out U of I. For all of my college students, I know a lot of the times when you're assigned literature, you don't want to read. So you kind of Google stuff and you do Spark Notes and you do all that other good stuff. So I want my podcast to serve as something that you guys can kind of get a quick synopsis of certain pieces of literature. So the 4 agreements are, number 1, be impeccable with your word. Okay. Be impeccable with your word. You have to speak integrity in everything that you do. A lot of the times you are fearful because you are the very person that placed that fear in yourself. And even if someone planted the seed of fear in you, it has been you and your words that have been affirming and confirming and watering that seed that someone else planted. You have to affirm yourself and even others. It is so much power in our words. I say this on my Instagram. You guys know I do a lot of motivational videos. Our words are literally spells. We cast spells in what we say. And that's why you have to be very, very cautious of what you speak and who you speak to. So never use your words for fear and for pain. Obviously, we're supposed to use them for love and happiness and all that good stuff. And I know it sounds corny, but it's real. Okay. The second agreement is to not take anything personally. Do not take it personal, okay? It is not about you. This is an agreement that really sat with me because my fear of not even wanting to do this is because I was afraid of what people were going to say and what people were going to do and if people were going to support it. And guess what? If they don't support it, that's not for me to take personally. No one became successful and a millionaire off of their friends and family. It sounds harsh, but it is the truth. It will be strangers and people that you don't know that are going to be the people that's going to pour into you. And yes, you may not know them personally, but that's what helps you push forward is because you don't take it personal if a stranger supports or doesn't, but you kind of take it personally when it is someone that's personal to you. So being able to understand that a lot of the things that people do and say and a lot of the things that people don't do and say has nothing to do with us. It's all a reflection of them. And once you can separate that, that will also help you overcome a lot of fear as well. The third agreement is do not make assumptions. Okay. What's that saying? To assume it kind of, makes an ass out of you or something like that. Like it is so courageous to ask a question. It is so much power in asking a question. When you just go off of the flim and you just assume something, that is the weakest thing that you can do. And it is the most detrimental thing that you can do for yourself. So you have to be able to communicate openly and freely so you don't have misunderstandings, right? Because when we assume that something isn't going to be successful, when we assume that, we're not going to be great, that someone else is doing it or too many people are doing it, when in actuality, yeah, a lot of people may do it, but they don't do it like you. A lot of people may want to do it, but guess what? Your desire is greater than their desire, and your purpose and your path is different as well. So don't assume. Fourth agreement, and the most important one, is to do your best. I think we become fearful. I know we are fearful as humans because we have this thing of, we think the best is a destination, and actually being your best and doing your best is a journey. It is not a place. It is literally a journey. Doing your best has nothing to do with the actual consistency of hitting the mark every time, but the continual push forward of you doing it all the time. Your best is not going to be the same on a day that you're operating at 100% in full health versus a day that you might be sick. Your best doesn't look, totally amazing when you're out of your comfort zone, but at least you attempted to do your best. The message in the book that really touched me towards the end about doing your best is that when we do not try to do our best, and we don't actually look at us doing our best and doing it differently each and every time, and we kind of hold ourselves captive to a standard, we actually self-judge ourselves, we self-abuse ourselves, and we reject ourselves. And that was a really big thing for me because I am a perfectionist, right? And when you're a perfectionist, people think that that's a good thing to be, but it is not. It is not, because nothing is perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect, okay? And when we actually look at things that are perfectly imperfect, we don't want things to be at its best all the time, right? We want to do our best and have it feel the best that it can feel, but nothing is ever just going to be 100%. And once we come to terms with that, that will help us get over the fear of trying to get at 100% and appreciate the 99. Does that make sense, you guys? If you agree with me, please comment below on which agreement sticks out the best to you. So again, 1, be impeccable with your word. 2, don't take it personally. Okay, shout out to Monica. 3, don't make assumptions. And 4, do your best. Fellas, attention all men. Please, if you need your nails done, please head over to His Men's Spa right now. They're going to get you right. They cater to men like royalty. They have manicures and pedicure packages that you can watch the game in front of the fireplace, and even have bottle girls serve you your favorite drink. They have a cigar patio and even a massage room. Sounds like a dream, right? Be sure that you go and check them out. Book online now at hismenspa.com. His is spelled HIZMENSPA.com. Or you can call 708-926-2576. They are located at 404 1 West 115th Street, Alsip, Illinois, 60803. Hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Be sure to tell them Sincerely Cedrinna sent you. We're going to get into our guests, ladies and gents. I have a very special person, okay? I'm going to introduce her my way, but I'm also going to let her introduce herself in her way. I was very intentional with picking her to be my guest for my first episode, not only because I know that I'm facing one of my biggest fears, but I wanted her to walk with me of facing a fear that I know that I kind of walked with her with facing a fear that she had, that literally when she got over that fear, she became that girl, very much that girl, okay? And she is just such a good person. She's such a great woman, a phenomenal mother, a wonderful entrepreneur. Like she is a business. Like she really is a business. And I just love her to death. So please welcome my guest, Miss Jerlicia. Cue the applause.
Thank you, girl. Thank you.
All right, so let me just introduce her. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit romantic with her, right? Romanticize your friendships. Let's just break the ice with that. Okay, I know as women, a lot of the times we romanticize, an intimate partner, but I think friendship, especially when it comes to business, is so important that you appreciate your friends. And like they say, date yourself, date your friends. Like me and this girl, we go out and we spend money like drug dealers. So me and her, we have a really good time, but we also have a very great story. So I'm gonna tell you what I think about you, Jerlicia, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to the people.
Okay.
And then we're gonna talk a little bit about the 4 agreements. So my biggest thing with you, Jerlicia, has always been when I look at you on social media, because I know you in real life, right? But when I watch you on social media, it literally almost creeps me out. It truly does. It almost creeps me out because everything that you're doing right now, I saw. Like I saw it.
Yeah.
And I took, I had to deep dive into Instagram, okay?
Oh, Lord.
So Battle of the Brushes
Whew.
was Saturday, November 2nd, 2013.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. So 9 years ago. What's today? October 11th, 2022.
Wow.
So yeah, girl, next year gonna be kind of like an anniversary.
Yeah.
An anniversary. So let me let you guys know what honey child. So let me tell you how your story aligns with my story and facing fear. So I graduated from U of I 2022, right? 2012, December 22nd, 2012, okay? And my degree is in marketing and communications. And honey child, when they say when you graduate from college, you can't find a job, that was real then. And I'm pretty sure it's real now, okay? And social media wasn't even what it is now. Like, do you remember when Instagram, you had to have an iPhone to have Instagram back then?
Yep.
With the brown logo? Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Honey child, like 10 filters.
Yep, I remember that.
A time to be alive. What were you doing? Filters. What were you doing in 2012, 2013?
I was a mother. I was just raising my daughter in 2012. And then I was also doing like the hookahs and the clubs. And I was with a group called the Mixed Chicks.
Okay.
Just out there. But not in a way where it was, degrading or anything like that. But I was in the club and
living your life. We was young,
making money.
Yeah,
I had to do what I had to do because I had my daughter, and I was playing in makeup, but definitely did not think that it would turn into my career.
Honey child, but I did though. So let me tell you, I was struggling looking for a job, and my mom was doing makeup at Carson. She worked for Clinique or Estee, one of those. And she wanted to do an event. So I'm like, okay, this is time to use my marketing degree. I'm trying to also use it as, a pitch for me finding a job and doing different things. So I put together that event, and I remember just searching hashtags. And this is why it's so important. Social media was nowhere then what it is now, but it is so important. And maybe you can even go deeper into this, Jerlicia. Like, you have to use social media to your advantage as an entrepreneur.
I literally preach that. You have to utilize social media to like the best of your ability with your career, whatever it is, your passion, your whatever, you have to put yourself out there. You have to hashtag like crazy. Several people, we're going to get into how, several people have found me through social media, but definitely utilized it for for my my makeup.
I found you through social media. So I knew that I wanted the event to have all these different makeup artists. So I don't know if you remember the event, because when I went through everything, I saw pictures of you, Mari, Candace, Amy. I was like,
but you know what? I had just started doing makeup.
it didn't look like it.
I was a baby amateur.
It didn't look like it. And you know what was so crazy? When I was reading your bio that you sent me, you said that you started in 2015. So that's what made me look the event. I'm like, no, the event was in 2013. And I'm like, but your work was so professional even then. So I found you by searching the hashtag Chicago MUAs. And that's how I found you. And I purposely wanted different type of makeup artists. So I wanted someone that did drag makeup. I wanted someone, I think I had someone from Mary Kay there. I wanted someone that the MAC girls and the Sephora girls and different people doing different things. So when I came across your page, what I always liked about your work is so clean. It's just clean. It's just so clean. Like, it's so clean. And at that time, your page, like you said, you were doing the hookah stuff and you were in the clubs and doing, you know, promoting. So your page, you just really had an aesthetic. You had a brand. You had a brand. And me coming from studying marketing and communications and knowing the theory behind it, right? Because there's a difference between the theory and the practical, right? So it's like all the theory I was reading, I was watching you practically doing it. So I was just like, no, I need to have this girl do the event. So I can remember if it was a DM. I don't know how I contacted you, but I asked you, I said, you should do this event.
And I was like,
and you said no.
Nope.
You told me no.
Nope. I was so nervous. I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not on the pro level.
You know, to be very honest with you, and I don't know if I told you this, but that really pissed me off when you told me no, because I was not used to. I'm still learning how to, you know, do better with no. Me and my therapist are working on that.
But you know, at that time, you saw something in me that I didn't see for myself. You know, and so I just was like, no. I knew how to say no.
You was yes, honey.
I knew how to say no.
And as personally, as a friend, you kind of taught me that in an era, because I was like,
girl,
she just told me no, and you were just like, no. So I was just like, okay. And then I think I doubled back like a few days later, and I was like, no, you should really do this event. So then I don't know if they personally knew you, but I saw some of the girls that was doing the event did know you or know of you. They were following you. And this is why you have to pay attention to. So social media can tell on a lot of people, but it also can help you a lot, like as far as building a umbrella of people and a system. So when I saw that you knew other people that was doing it, and you still was like the best person that I had seen, one of the best. I was like, what?
To get a lot of people were like, you should do this event. People were coming like, oh, you should do this and do. I'm like, okay, the pressure is on, child. Y'all leave me alone.
The pressure is getting
leave me
worse.
Alone. Leave me alone. But they were like, no, girl, you're good. You're amazing. Everybody was just pushing me.
Yeah.
And then finally,
you said yes. And when you said yes, you were the only girl, I think, at the time that I really wasn't worried about. Like, because it was like my first event, you know, and I had my own stuff that I was trying to do, you know, and that was a huge event. Like we had the makeup artists, we had the models, had the judges, we had the vendors, like we had so much going on. And, you know, even it kind of helped me even tonight, like studying you objectively and going back into all that stuff. And I'm like, pat myself on the back. I kind of did a lot of stuff, you know, because honestly, Jerlicia, even though I was a makeup artist, girl, I didn't want to do makeup. I'm a hustler. And I'm a people's person though. You know, so me as a makeup artist, I never had the desire to do clientele one-on-one. I wanted to create a space that helped people. Like that's my biggest thing. Like I want to put people in position, and I also want to remind people of their positioning and remind people of who they are. And we know, being from Chicago, you know, a lot of people just get their flowers just too late, you know? And I think a lot of people feel like they have to give people flowers when they feel like they've earned it. But I think it's just nice to be nice and just give someone a flower, because you never know. If I give you one rose, the other 11 may bud, you know? Like, so with you, it was just like, once you said yes, I was like, it wasn't even in the back of my mind, like, is she gonna show up? Is she gonna do it? I'm like, she gonna be here. She gonna be here. She gonna show up and she gonna show out. And baby, that look that you did, I'm gonna see if my producer can like insert it somewhere on the picture. But we had a segment where we worked with Demi Lobo, and she had like some lipsticks, and you guys had to use the lipsticks.
Right.
And honey, when you put the lipstick on her face, I was like, oh, she creative.
And that's the thing. I've always been into art in school, right? But I mean, I didn't think that me excelling in art in school was going to lead into, you know, being artistic with makeup and color theory and all those different things that are tied into being a makeup artist.
Alignment, though, right?
You know, right. And
Alignment.
I've always loved art in school.
Well, you are an artiste, honey, because when I saw that, I was like, Jesus. So, you know, I think you were runner-up or third. Yeah, you were.
Was first runner-up.
First runner-up.
Yes.
And I felt like after that, it just took off for you.
It took off.
Like, and maybe you can, you know, walk us through the rest, because I felt like you were everywhere after that.
You didn't even know this, but I believe his name was Turtle, videographer.
Oh, yeah, Turtle the Great. Shout out, Turtle.
Shout out to him. But let me tell you, that's how I got my first celebrity client.
Really?
Yeah, Tammy Rivera was my first celebrity client.
Ah!
Yes. From your event.
Really?
And meeting Turtle.
Wow. I think Turtle's company, because we had media teams there too. Yep. Like we had PR teams and marketing teams there.
Yep.
So yeah, Turtle was there. Wow.
That is how I got my first celebrity client.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to Tammy Rivera. Love her so much.
Wow.
First celebrity client.
Okay, so walk us down the celebrities and walk us down. I don't know how soon, like, were you working at Sephora when you did Tammy? Or, because you worked at Sephora.
I was working at Sephora.
How was that?
It was just a job just to kind of get my foot in the makeup door, really. I really ultimately wanted to work for the, you know, #1 company, which was MAC Cosmetics. But trying to get with MAC was difficult. You know, it was a long process.
I feel like you worked for MAC at some point.
I did work for MAC.
You did.
I actually am technically still employed with MAC. I just haven't been there in years because I've done so much with my freelance business. But it took 4 months for me to get with MAC from the first time I interviewed with them. Wow. It took 4 months, and that was with a lot of people.
Really? I feel like at that time, it was like the girls that were working at MAC, like even when you think about YouTube at that time, because that's how I learned makeup.
If you got with MAC.
But I feel like all the girls that worked for MAC had those YouTube pages, and they taught everyone. Yeah. Because I never went to school to do makeup. Like I literally, like you, I was just self-taught. Like,
I was self-taught.
But you look like you went to school. I thought you had went to like some formal training.
Everybody thought that I went to school or had training with makeup. I never did.
Wow.
Never did.
Wow.
Literally everything I with makeup was self-taught, learned on my own, YouTube University.
Shout out to YouTube University.
I definitely looked up to some of the greats like Sam Fine and Beyonce's makeup artist Sir John, Mario, Kim Kardashian's makeup artist. So I mean, if you're looking at people like that, I mean, I was studying them.
Yes.
But self-taught, 100%.
So going into fear, what was it that made you not want to do the event?
I just didn't feel like I was that good.
Really?
Yeah, I have. I've always struggled with not feeling like I was that great in my makeup artistry. Everyone would always tell me like, "Oh, you're so good," or "Oh, do my sister's prom, you killing it." Da da da. But I don't know if it was a thing of my family forcing me to go to college to get a degree and get what they felt was like more of a stable job, that I didn't feel like if I took the makeup route that I would succeed. So I had that fear of not being successful in the field, that I didn't feel like I was that good.
Wow, that's really something good, and I never knew that. Yeah, I never knew that.
Absolutely.
So it was more so of what did your family want you to do? Like what area? Healthcare, nursing.
Yep. Jackson State University. All of them. A lot of my family members are nurses, doctors, teachers, lawyers. Okay. I worked at a law firm when I was in college. So Burton Associates, girl.
Well, can I give you something to like think about though? I went to college, and I was studying pre-med. I wanted to be a cardiologist. Wow.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. And, as you being in healthcare, right, or in education, in law, really, when you think about it, Jerlicia, because I know when I was a makeup artist,
Right.
you are so up close on someone, and most
Mhm.
of the time you're doing their makeup, unless it's just an it girl that's just getting her makeup just because it's Tuesday.
Right.
You're there at a pivotal moment. You're there at a
Mhm.
graduation, at a prom,
Mhm.
at a
Wedding.
or like
Yeah.
pivotal moments, you know? So really you're a therapist.
Mhm.
Really you're someone that's helping them and healing them and educating them and advising
that
them.
actually is what it's all tied into, because I've always said that makeup is my ministry. So it's not just me beating the face or applying a product, but I'm also being a therapist and a hype woman and someone to pour into them. I'm praying for my clients as well. I had a client recently come over who was struggling because she was trying to figure out how she was going to get to her engagement shoot, and she was dealing with some other things going on, and she was just panicking and sweating and going crazy. And I took her hands and we prayed. And she said, "Girl, thank you so much. I'm about to cry." I said, "Don't you cry.
Yeah, don't mess up that makeup."
But you know, you're dealing with so many personalities and emotions and even energies. I've declined clients, but
protect your energy.
It's so much that goes into being a makeup artist and just actually providing the physical service. It takes an emotional and mental toll on you as well.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So to hear you say that, you know, and I think a lot of people have that. I know even me personally, and I have 2 degrees. I have a bachelor's and a master's, honey. And let me tell you something. You heard it here first. Let's get into this. I don't know if I told you per se, Jerlicia, but you want to know what really pushed me out of the window to do this podcast?
What?
Honey child, you know I lost my job during the pandemic.
Right.
So I come from retail, managing retail, right?
Yes.
I believe as humans, we all sell ourselves. That's what it's all about. And that's why entrepreneurship is so scary for people, because you don't have the safety net of being able to sell yourself with someone, or someone being able to sell you for you, or you being able to sell something that you don't have the ultimate control and power of, because much is given, much is earned. So, you know, I always felt like me having a job and me having a degree. I love school. I'm a scholar at heart, right? Like even when you say YouTube University, I find myself now looking at YouTube for, girl, I'm looking up chakras, honey. I'm looking up just, you know, everything, DIYs and different things like that. And it's not necessarily what I want to do as a profession, but just to educate myself, right? For free. Right. And without the restrictions, right? And me losing my job in the pandemic was the biggest blessing in disguise, because it was God forcing me to do what I needed to do. But the scarier part, honey, I lost my job in 2020. Jerlicia, I have 2 degrees and over 10 years of experience in marketing and communications and advertisement and PR. And honey, I can't find a job.
I'm already knowing how difficult it is.
So if you are watching this and you have a lot of experience, you know, you went to school because your parents told you to go to school. You went back to school because your partner, your spouse, or your boss told you to go get further education, and it's not aligning. That doesn't mean it's not all in alignment. You know, I really believe college stretches so far beyond a classroom. Going back to Turtle. I met Turtle through someone else at NIU. We did an event that was U of I, NIU, and SIUC all like against each other for fashion and dance stuff. And I remember telling Turtle at that time, you know, for me, college isn't about the coursework. It's really about the experience, especially for Black people. Like it's about the experience. So I really believe it's certain things that you have to learn on that campus, and you have to learn in that class, and you have to learn with that instructor that has nothing to do with what is on the syllabus, you know? But I also believe people use it as a crutch, right? And I commend those like you that was kind of like, well, I don't want to do this. So I don't want to take the route that everyone else takes, or the route that someone's telling me to take, because you really jumped out of the window for yourself. So once I couldn't find a job, honey, I said, no, it's time to do this podcast. So I said, it's time to do this podcast. And when I kept thinking about topics, and when I came back to fear, I just kept thinking about you, because I was just like, I couldn't believe that you didn't want to do the event. And even today, I want to ask you, like, are you ever still like fearful Like,
Oh,
are you
yeah.
ever scared
I
of
mean,
certain clients or scared of certain events?
I was also fearful when I was still working at a financial consulting firm. That was 2018 is when I took that real leap of faith and started my Makeup by Jerlicia LLC, which was in 2020.
Okay. So you went official.
So I'm official, you know, but before then I was still the safety net, you know, of having
one
a job.
Foot in, 1 foot out.
Yep. But in that moment, it was definitely necessary for me to take the leap of faith. I was not needed at that job past the time that I was already supposed to be there. I was there long enough. I was reading something, I was watching something with Tabitha Brown, and she said, she said she didn't put things in her cubicle. She didn't put pictures there. She didn't put anything personal because that was not where she wanted to be.
And that's not where you're going to be that
so
long.
I was at the financial consulting firm for a reason.
Yes.
And it helped with my business. My old boss is my financial advisor. I still have, you know, investments there with her. Yeah. So
you learned tools, I would imagine, that helped you
absolutely
even
with my
build your own business.
Absolutely. Things that I did not learn in college and things that I didn't learn from other people, but I was able to use the things that I learned from working in the financial consulting firm to apply it to my business now. And I took that real leap of faith in 2018 and never looked back.
Okay, so 2018 to now, what's that, about 4 years?
2018 to 2022.
That's 4 years, right?
4 years now.
Because I came back to Chicago in 2018, right? So from 2018 to now, just let the people who don't know, like your resume, I'm pretty sure they're going to look you up on social media and all that good stuff.
I am not good at
give them some of your clients. Who are some of your clients that you
I have worked with Kimberly Elise, the actress. My main client right now is the singer Tink, the R&B singer Tink. Monique Rodriguez from Mael Organics, the #1 natural hair care company in the world.
Nice.
I've worked on different shows, Black Ink Crew, Bringing Up Ballers. I've worked with other Chicago artists, Dreezy, just a variety of people.
A lot of people. Your bio says international fashion magazines, Billboard. I'm a flex for. She want to be humble, but this ain't the time to be humble. Like,
I've definitely
accredited
traveled,
blogs, TV shows, red carpets.
Yes.
You've also hosted numerous makeup courses.
Yes. All of them were all sold out. Since I started doing the makeup and Moscato classes in 2015, each one has sold out. And I'm going to start that back up, guys. So for those who have followed me on the Makeup and Moscato journey, I'm going to start that back up next
Promise
year.
The people. Promise the people.
I promise that 2023, I will start back the Makeup and Moscato's classes.
Okay. So going to the 4 agreements, right? So the first agreement being impeccable with your word. What do you do to make sure you are impeccable with your word? Like standing on what you say?
Standing on my word is important to me because if I don't believe in myself, nobody else is going to believe in me. And if I say that I want something done or I want to achieve something, I have to actually work hard and get that thing done. Yes. Nobody is going to just hand things out, for me. So for me, I have to just strongly believe in myself. And then from there, the next door will open and then other people will believe in me. And then they'll be like, okay, this girl is true about what she's saying.
Yes, no,
period,
definitely. Period. That's it. Agreement number 2, don't take it personally.
Wow.
Give us a story.
Wow.
Maybe when you took something personally in your makeup journey, whether that was preliminarily when you was first starting out, maybe now, maybe somebody didn't know that your resume looked like that. And
when have I taken something personally? When I had to take a step back and say, you know what, first of all, you cannot get emotionally attached to anything.
Let's talk about it, Jerlicia. That's the word. Let's get into it.
Because if you do, as women, we often think with our emotions and not with our brain, our logic, and that can get us in trouble when you're an entrepreneur. You cannot act out of emotion. It's difficult. It's a journey. You know, everything
It's
is
a journey, not a destination.
And so when it came down to that, you know, I had to take a step back and say it's not about me per se. You know, it's bigger than that. So
that's
and if
courageous
I want this,
to admit that. Though.
Brand to continue to excel and grow and still be a part of it, I have to take a step back and let them do what they got to do.
I love that
and remove my emotions from that.
I love that. That was real. Agreement number 3: don't make assumptions. When is the time that you assumed? Personally or professionally?
More so personally, you know.
Yeah, let's get into it.
You know, personally, I've assumed a lot of things in like past relationships. I would say personally that I've assumed certain things that were there, but you know, was not true. But it was out of
I was just gonna ask, what was that rooted in?
My own past traumas, you know,
the fear of being hurt again.
Yeah, unhealed areas. So it was just more of a me not dealing with those past issues and allowing them to, you know, spill over into the new relationship. So it was a lot of assuming that happened, and that's not good to assume. Like you say, you make an ass out of yourself, and it's good to just ask questions. You know,
clarity is the best.
Clarity is key.
Clarity
for real.
Is key.
Clarity is key. You have to ask questions, because if you don't, my dad always told me no question is ever stupid unless you know the answer already. If you already know, I mean, like I know that this is a clear bottle. Like I'm not going to ask what color is this, but clarity is key. Just ask the question. Prayerfully, they don't lie to you. But that's what discernment kick in.
I was just gonna say, because here's the thing: I wouldn't pray that someone doesn't lie to me. I would pray that I have the discernment to decipher the lie.
Absolutely.
Right, and I would pray that even beyond the discernment to decipher the lie, I have the determination to choose myself over the person who lied to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you go to therapy?
Not anymore. I went to therapy for a little minute.
Okay, I could tell. I'm like, you giving me therapy talk,
but I haven't been to therapy in a little minute. I feel like I take moments for myself and just, you know, do my own self talks and meditation, and I cut off the world a lot. I do. I have to. I mean, I
was just gonna say, you work with the public. You work with regular people,
like I said,
high profile people.
With my makeup business, it's draining emotionally and mentally. And if I'm no good for myself, I can't be good for anybody else. Yes. And so I have to shut off the world to recharge, reset, and then I can come back in and do what I gotta do. You have to.
That's so real. Last agreement is do your best. When is the last time you felt like Jerlicia did her best? When was the last time you had to be like, you know what, Jerlicia, you really did that?
I did my client and I had to go to New York Fashion Week. This was recently. And y'all probably seen it if you follow me on Instagram, Makeup by Jerlicia. I showed that we had to start glam at the airport.
Like literally
like at the gate.
I was just, what?
At the gate. I started doing makeup at the gate. We were running late because we missed a flight. Started glam at the airport.
Well, I would imagine that's good marketing though, because I mean, if I saw someone doing makeup in the airport and it was good, I was like, "Where's your car?"
Listen, got to the destination, got to New York, went to the bathroom in New York, finished up more glam while people were watching and asking questions. Wow. Didn't even know what she was wearing, but I'm so in tune with my clients that I picked the colors. Like she told me the color that she was wearing, and I just mixed the shadows together, and literally it came out exactly like what she was wearing. And girl, I beat her face. We got in the truck, finished her some more in the truck, in a moving truck. She went out to the event, and the pictures was, you know, paparazzi pictures going crazy and looked flawless. You would have never known what we had to endure to get there.
Well, I feel like coming from someone that does my makeup, you know, I feel like when I'm rushing and I do my makeup, it's on point every time. I feel like when I sit down and I just take my time and I do it for me,
girl,
it's not hitting.
But listen, when I say I was so proud of myself because I really pushed through. I didn't allow myself to get in my feelings because I missed the flight.
You
But I
didn't
was
allow
like,
fear, like
yep,
fear of being
didn't allow
late,
it.
fear of it not looking
I
right.
said, you know what? I said, God, guide my hands. You know, let's do this thing. And I literally beat her face between O'Hare and LaGuardia
I'm
Airport.
gonna need to see that picture, honey, because I have
I got
a
a whole
feeling
video
it looks
of it,
so
girl. I got a
good.
whole video of the start to finish.
Really?
Killed it.
Oh my God.
Super proud of myself.
Yeah, no, that's definitely you doing your best. So what is next for you? Like, what is, because I feel like we're ever evolving, right? As humans, as people, right? So even beyond professionalism, like, I don't know, I've never asked you this even as your friend, like, what is your ultimate goal? Like, do you want to stay in makeup? Like, where is your heart really in makeup? Like what does Jerlicia ultimately want to do? Or are you really living your dream right now?
I'm living my dream, but I feel like the biggest goal that I have with my makeup career is just being able to make an impact all over. Sharing my story, my journey, being a makeup educator as well. There are some things that I don't really want to say aloud, but
that makes sense.
Some things that I'm working on to be able to have like that safe place for makeup artists because we need it.
I love it. I love it. Let's also normalize, because I totally hear that and I totally respect that, publicly or privately. I believe that, especially when you don't know or you don't have it all figured out, the enemy can attack what they don't know, right? And that goes for physically and spiritually, right? But then I also feel like even when you have your plan, it's not meant for everyone to know your plan and to know your next steps. And I even have learned this even in this journey of, you know, it was certain people that was like, oh, when's your podcast going on? Or what are you doing? Or different things like that. I'm coming to this studio. I'm meeting the producer. I'm doing my photo shoots, getting the logos together, just all by myself.
Yep.
And not even because I'm fearful of someone not liking it or doing wrong by it or wrong by me. It's just the peace that I have with walking in my purpose, where literally God got me. I just, you know, it's really not meant for everyone to go, you know?
No, that's true. That's real.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to understand your vision and your plan. It's not for everybody, you know, so.
Let them know. Talk to the camera. That's good. That's a word.
Some things you do have to, you know, just work with God alone, you know, and those who are meant to understand and accept it and help you on your journey, God will strategically place them in your life to help you fulfill whatever it is that you are meant to do.
I love it.
Because baby, people will try you.
Yeah, but you want to know something? It's good what if we're meant to be tried?
That's part of it.
These are the things that I'm learning to
really
think
good.
about.
It's actually good in a way to have haters because I mean you definitely doing something right, and people feel like it's always a bad thing to have haters, or like you absolutely doing something right, and for people to see you, whether they say, oh, she doing that, but you watching, that's still support. You still getting my views up on Instagram.
They say a hater is a confused admirer, you know?
I used to say that.
But, you know, even beyond it, this is what I'm learning. Going back to fear and self, right? We are our biggest hater. When you really get into it. Like when you really look even at the agreements, right? And then taking things personally. Like I've even found myself like, is that person really hating? Or is it that, you know, because I really think sometimes we take things personal and we take it as hate because we just don't feel the love, right? But it's almost like the analogy of like your cup has to be full and everybody else is just extra. It's just overflow, you know, or just making the assumption of maybe it's not that the person is hating or that the person isn't a supporter, but, you know, people have their own things going on as well. But I've learned to kind of self-reflect, put that mirror back on me. And it's just like, even when you do have a naysayer or you have someone that turns up their nose or even turns their back on you, right? Because the worst hater to have is someone who was once a lover, like, and once a friend, whether it was any relationship, platonic, family, friend. The worst hater to have is someone who actually was like your go-to, you know? But I believe that starts with us, right? Because we come fresh out, even the book talks about that. Our dream versus society's dream, right? And society's dreams is what everyone else told you, right? Is the principles and the things that you're supposed to do versus a lot of us as adults are walking around with childhood dreams. And you being a child, just like your daughter, you know, with art, you never know, your daughter might be the chemist that actually grows up, and then guess what? Now Jerlicia has her own products. It's a family-owned business.
Absolutely.
You never know the alignment and what God truly has planned for you. And I just feel like sometimes we give the devil and the enemy just too much credit. You know, like sometimes when it's not going good or people aren't supporting or things look like they're falling apart or not in place, sometimes it don't be the devil, it really be God.
Yeah.
It really be God, just redirection. Like rejection is protection. I always say that.
I just was saying it to somebody that the rejection is God's protection. That's why I say, like, I don't take all clients. I'm big on energy. I'm big on, you know, what's for me will be for me. And I'm just big on my peace right now and protecting myself.
That's the most priceless thing. And to wrap up this episode, sentimental value, the reason why I named it, let's go back. So for those that have been following me for a while, know me as Miss U of I, know me as Nadia Rose. We'll unpack that in other episodes, okay? When we get into self-reflection, okay? And self-identity. But Cedrinna, you know, is my government name. And I just woke up one day, Jerlicia, and I was just like, I'm never going to get what God has for me until I become me. Yeah. God cannot give me, when I think about and I've done it all, Jerlicia. Music, makeup, marketing, events. I've been a bottle girl. I've done it all. And when I really think about it, it's just like God can't give me what's for me because I'm not me. I'm not being who he designed me to be. Authentically, sincerely, genuinely. You. Like, so when I was even thinking about branding, because you know everything go back to the branding, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go by my name and I'm gonna go by Sincerely Cedrinna. And for those who truly know me, you know me, like this is really me. I'm all for that motivation, inspiration. Absolutely. Even when we were back crazy running around drinking buzz balls, like, having a good time.
That was we had a time back then.
Like, we had a time last night. But even when I think back to stuff like that, I always remember, even when you were going through stuff, it was like, I got to get to my client. I got to get to work. I got to get, same thing with me. It was like, no, I got to get to it. So once I started to really think about me aligning and I thought about my podcast, I was like, I really want to do sentimental value because we always, especially now, everything's about money. Money, status, coin, clout, you know, just, oh my God, we are living in some strange times.
Yeah, we are.
Jerlicia, like we are living in strange times and my heart goes out. That's why I commend you even being a mother. Yeah. To be a boss is one thing, but to be a mom on top of being a business owner and entrepreneur, honey child, I commend you. I truly do. And, you know, even with your daughter and looking at social media and different things like that, she has so many messages that's going against her real self, you know, and or people and things telling her to be someone else or to do something else. Right. And I just felt like right now we're living in a time where things need to go back to having true sentimental value. Absolutely. You know, like our friendship, we can go out, we can have a good time, we can take that Instagram picture, we can go, you know, get that bottle, that table, but ultimately, sincerely, I am your friend. And I feel like you as a person, you add sentimental value into my life. And, you know, even dealing with different podcasts, I truly want it to be something where people can look up your bio and they can see who you are. Right. But I want them to see why you are. Yeah. You know?
I wanted to say, it'll be real quick. So my passion with makeup, it led me into my purpose, right? And then from that, all just kind of working itself out, it turned into the paycheck. When you were just talking about material things and how people are so big on coin.
They say don't chase the money. The money gonna come.
My passion is what led me into my purpose. And that's
your purpose gave you the paycheck
and gave me the paycheck and the profit. And that's what it's about. You have to, the passion and the purpose is greater. Much more rewarding then you're gonna have the paycheck. That's gonna come.
Yeah.
But the passion that you have, and
it's so residual. It just keeps giving. It's a gift that keeps giving.
Absolutely.
It's a gift that keeps
Literally.
giving. So
literally.
Ultimately, I want to thank you for doing my podcast.
Thank you for having me, girl.
Thank you. Thank you for being my first guest, honey child. You know,
hey.
We're embarking on a journey. And again, if you haven't already, please read this book. Okay, read this book. Let's get a shot of Jerlicia with the book. Okay, honey. Maybe because that man, I watched something with the author. He was on Oprah.
Okay.
Yes, I was like, he might need a makeup artist. Because men do makeup too. I saw Diddy getting some makeup one time.
What we call it, male grooming.
Okay.
Yeah, I do male grooming as well.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot. I also do makeup for the deceased. A lot of people don't know that.
Okay, I did know that you did that.
Yeah,
I think I hit you up about that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't even know that. But I do that as well. So, I mean, there's so many different lanes and avenues with what I do.
Okay, so we're going to close out the episode with tell the viewers what's something, and I know you kind of touched on it with the purpose and passion and paycheck, but what is something right now to Jerlicia that has sentimental value to you right now? It could be a tangible thing. It could be an idea. It could be a memory. Like what has sentimental, what means the most to you right now?
I mean, having my daughter. Literally, she was my greatest motivation. Seriously.
Shout out your baby.
Shout out to my daughter, Zara. I really would not be the woman I am today if it wasn't for me having her.
Oh, I love that.
I'm so serious. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, I love that.
If I did not have my daughter, I don't know
where
if
you would be.
I wouldn't know where I would be.
That's beautiful.
I had my daughter when I was 21. And
that's young, but not too young.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't plan to have a child that young. I didn't even think I was going to be having kids. Really, you know, I was just living my life.
Do you want more kids?
I do want more children, but I definitely want a husband first.
Okay.
So you know,
that's like having another kid.
You know,
me and my therapist was talking about that, but
no, I seriously would not have grown into the woman that I am today if I did not have my daughter.
I love hearing that because you know, on maybe the next episode or one of these episodes, I'm gonna have my therapist on, and you know, I do hypnotherapy, girl. So. A time, but you know, we discussed that a lot. My fear of motherhood, like, honey child, I am afraid to be a mother. Like, oh, Jesus.
It's no blueprints to being a parent, but it's a beautiful experience. I'm still learning. My daughter is 11. I am still learning right now. I don't know it all, and I'm okay with the journey.
Love it.
I'm okay with it. I'm, you know. Sometimes I got my wine, and sometimes I got, you know, whatever else.
A juice box and some gummies.
But, you know, but it's an experience and it's a journey, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Really? Okay. Well, that's amazing. I love that, honey child. I'll tell you right now, that's one of my fears. I'll close it out. My sentimental value that I have right now would definitely be this. It was so many things going on early in the week and today that had me a little shaky, and it's just like, this means everything to me right now. Right now, I am choosing this. This is me. Like, I am choosing me. So right now, this podcast in theory is what just has so much sentimental value to me right now, because I feel like, you know, I'm really big on documenting like my life. And watching Kanye's documentary really had me like, we're living in a time where we have cameras in everyone's face, but we don't know what that footage is going to mean later on. That's so true. Know? So I hope right now it helps someone that's watching this. If you are watching this on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. The platform is YouTube. The page is Sincerely Cedrinna. Be sure to like, comment, share this video, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on all platforms. If you know someone that is facing fear right now, please, if you are someone that is facing fear, share the message. You are not alone, okay? I'm going to let Jerlicia tell you all of her platforms to be sure to follow her. If you need a makeup artist, be sure to book her. If you are a business and you're interested in promo on my podcast, be sure to email Sincerely Cedrinna. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Sincerely Cedrinna. And thank you guys so much. Love you so much. Jerlicia, let them know where to follow you.
My Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is all Makeup by Jerlicia. That's MAKEUPBYJERLICIA.
Love it. Love it. I feel like I should spell my name, so I'm going to spell it. Cedrinna is with a C, not with the S. I love it. Yeah, it's Cedrinna. Maybe my producer, he could be so lovely and put it down here. He could put my name and Jerlicia's name. Be sure to check out this book. Be sure to check it out. If you have any thoughts, please be sure to hit me up, DM me. I do answer. I may not follow back, but I do answer. But enjoy your night. Again, like I always say, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Again, thank you for tuning in to my podcast, Sentimental Value with Sincerely Cedrinna. And again, round of applause. Let's thank our guest, Miss Jerlicia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Love you.
Love you.